All right, if you have a $100 bill, check out this video because we're going over some really rare $100 bills. Now, I understand $100 is a lot of money. However, imagine having a $100 bill and accidentally just spending it when it's actually worth more money. Let's take this $100 bill, for example, that has a bit of an error on it. You wouldn't really notice it. So on the back right-hand side of the bill, you're going to see a little stamp there. Now, that is a post-factory stamp that will actually decrease the value, but on the front of the bill, you will notice on the left hand side there is a strip that is an anti-counterfeiting measure for this bill. The issue is the security strip was not properly embedded in the paper, causing it to be an error, and this person was able to turn a $100 bill into 222 bucks, so they over doubled their money. Here's a more modern $100 bill that we're all used to seeing, except this one has what we call a fancy serial number. So this specific bill, even though you can see it has a lot of folds in it, still brought a lot of money. Understand that the better the condition your $100 bill is in, the more money it's going to be worth online. So keep your bills in really good condition. Look at the serial number. It starts and ends with a 0. The second digit at the start and the end is a 6. The third digit at the start and end is an 8. And the middle two digits are a 0. This is what we call a radar serial number. Something like this is really rare and valuable. It sold for $432. 822 bucks for this $100 bill. If you're looking at the right hand side of the bill, you can see a weird impression coloration going on. It's a green and black. That's a bit strange looking, and then when you flip it over to the back, you can see that it is very misaligned compared to the front. This is called an end of the roll error. So the roll of paper that they used to produce paper money, it was at its end and they made a mistake and this happened. So if you have something that looks like this, you have an end of roll error and it can sell for a lot of money. $900 for this old 1934 $100 bill. First thing I want to say is it's a star note. The star doesn't matter as much, but essentially a star note happens when there's an error on a printing sheet and they produce a new sheet with some new bills on it and they replace it with star notes. The big factor here is the fact that it's a mule note. So a mule note happens when the back and the front should not have gone together. The easiest way to tell if you have a mule note is by looking at the back plate position number and comparing it to the front. So on the back of this one, you can see on the back right hand side there's a small 67. That's the back plate number, and if you compare it to the size of the front plate number at the bottom right on the front, you can see the size is different. The size is the biggest thing you need to look at when comparing to see if you have a mule note. That's the biggest factor here, is the fact that it's a mule note, and it was able to sell for $900. $1,560 for this star note. Now it looks like it's in pretty bad condition, which I would agree. The portrait of Benjamin there has a lot of ink that's missing. Like I said, it's also a star note that can play a factor in the value, but understand this, when we are printing paper money, the front of the bill is actually the second print. The third print is that overprint there, which is the serial number and the seal on the left hand side, and the first print is actually the back, which you see here is gone. Banknotes like this you have to be very careful of because people can easily watch a video like ours and say, hey, I'm gonna get an eraser and just erase the back of a bill and turn my $100 bill into $1,500 like this one. It's not that easy, and a company like PCGS or PMG will quickly identify that the bill is altered and actually not worth that much money at all. Since it is graded by PCGS, it is designated as genuine. These guys know exactly what they're doing. They are experts, and that's why it sold for $1,560. When you're looking at the back of this $100 bill, I want to show you the back bottom right hand side. You're going to see the back plate number. Remember before we talked about a mule note. Now mule notes can happen when the back and the front should not have gone together. So we want to look at the size of that number. Keep in mind this bill sold for $2,280. When we flip it over to the front, we're going to look at the front plate position, which is in the top left and the top right. You can see at the top left, before the C and the number, which those don't matter, you can see a small FW. The FW stands for the Fort Worth, Texas facility where this bill was produced. You only have two facilities in the US that prints paper money. You've got Fort Worth, Texas and Washington, DC. Like I said, the size of the front and the back plate numbers are the same, so this is not a mule note, but this is a fancy serial number, solid number 6, as you can see here, and that's why it sold for $2,280. $3,120. You have a lucky number 7 solid serial number here, even though it's in pretty low condition with that very fine 30 grade. A lot of folds going through the center of the bill, a lot of ink loss. Not the best eye appeal overall. However, the value really comes from that serial number, and if the condition was better, so would the value. The value would have been a lot more money. But if you want to learn more about paper money and coins, we have a free ebook down below. Click on that link and learn more, and we'll see you in the next video.